Now another video. This one has a special topic that I don't know a lot about. I don't have any in my store. I did have a couple, but they did sell. I think I ran across, I might have a couple of the cardboard ones, but Birchwood postcards. We're going to get into that after I talk about what's sold. I got about 11 cards sold on eBay, and then I put a poll out there a couple weeks ago. Do you use eBay standard envelope? I was surprised on a couple of the categories. It wasn't too bad. Most people use it, but there is some questions I had about that. And then I got a couple of viewer comments to go over at the end of the video. Always want to stick around to the end of the video to listen to the viewer comments. Those come from the viewers' emails, different places, and I kind of just respond to them on there. Now, just a disclaimer. No trees were harmed during the making of this video. I didn't go out cut any trees down. But let's go ahead and get into the what's sold here. And remember, this is the variety of cards. Not more the dollars, but the variety that people are buying. Because I have a huge amount of cards in the store, and they got to pick what they can out of them. So it gives you a good idea from my inventory what people are looking for and what's sold. The first one here is a Kewpie. Kewpies always sell. These weren't top dollar. They weren't made on real heavy cardstock. I got a bunch of these in with a lot, and I sold, I think this might be the last one, about $4 to $5 for each one of those. I sold a couple boats. Now these two sold for $9.10. So basically $4.55 a piece. They're the same boat. They're the USS Niagara Falls. So I still sell Niagara Falls cards, but they're boats. They're ships, Navy ships. I have 31 of these left. Now what I did, if you go back and watch my video when I bought this lot over a year ago, there was a huge amount of postcards that I bought from a club that actually sold these cards. It was a Navy ship club. They did cancels and stuff like that, and they wanted to get out of the postcard business, so I bought their whole inventory. They even printed out some of the cards as you've seen here on the thing. It was delivered to my front door. I got these really good price, and I want to recognize the club that did that, so I keep them at a good price for people to get, just like they did. Not as low as they did. They sold on Shopify, I think, but I do have a little bit more overhead than they do. But what I did, this one had maybe say 50 cards. They came in packs of 50 cards. Some people said, well, just put one or two up and then just put them up as you go. I started a little bit of that, but I didn't want to manage it. I didn't want to deal with constantly adding cards and messing with quantity. So if this had 50, I counted it. I did the listing, did the scan, put it together, and put 50 in the quantity and just let eBay count it down. If I had some with 650. I counted all 650 cards, make sure they're there, put the quantity of 650. I never have to touch them again. And also, people will come in not just buy one, but they buy more than one. I put a volume discount on. I've been using a volume discount for years. Let them come in, buy one card, and then get a % off if they buy more. You want to just keep them in there. So a lot of people will come in and buy 1 to 10, 20 of these cards, and they get like up to a 15% discount. So if you're not using volume discounts, I have a video about that, and you want to get people to buy more than one card. You can put 4 cards in an eBay standard envelope and still stay under an ounce and meet the criteria for them. So the more cards they buy, those big orders, you make some money on there. That's the ships. The next one, a guy sent me a message, hey, would you take $3.25 for this card? Yep. It's a lobster. Hasn't been in the store that long, but $3.25, I probably paid, I don't know what I paid for this, but he was a repeat buyer on there. I don't get a lot of those, so when people make an offer like that, I'm not going to go and say it's a lowball offer. It's $4.55. I had this card up for, and he offered $3.25. I lost some margin on this, but he might be a repeat customer and do that. So a lobster, $3.25. And here's one of those prints I was talking about that the clubs actually printed. This is one of them right here, and it's on lighter cardstock. And they printed it like this, and they put the name on there. They have a whole database. I got all the drives and all the prints of these. I got the original prints, the negatives of these cards stored away. So I own the negatives. This one, I have 20 of these left. So I did the same thing. I just put one listing and put 20. This sold for $4.55. I sell those prints all the time. And they just go. And I have thousands of them down here. already listed. All my ship stuff is 95% listed. There's a few things and some stragglers I gotta see if I have them already. It's just tedious work. But I did find a box of some RPPCs and some more photographs that I got sitting over there queued up that go up this winter. Next one, this is Walker Art Building, Sodone College, Brunswick, Maine. It looks like it's an older card. It's divided back on there, but it sold for $4.55. I didn't see the comps that would go any higher on that card. Next one is just a chrome card, $4.55. This is Roy Rogers and Dale Event Museum. And I just sold another sleeves. We'll get into that in a second on there. So that's a chrome card, or Roy Rogers car, $4.55. This one came out of the private collection video that I did. I bought 8 albums from a guy for $1,200, and it's this series of videos here. I went through and comped each one of them, and I'm keeping track of what I sell, and I'll be doing a yearly update pretty soon. I did a 6-month update, then I'm going to do a year and where I'm at, and you'll understand long tail when I show you those things. This came out of album 6. I only got $4.55 for it. It's Mount Rainier from Tacoma. Standard view card, $4.55. This next one is a light cardstock. I call these drawing cards sometimes. It's a picture of the fire engines, but it's not a real heavy stock. It's trimmed down a little bit. That's the way it was made, and it sold for $4.55. Early Newberry fire apparatus. So maybe someone wanted it for their collection. Here's a card you don't want to ever skimp out on. You always want to check these, and I'll tell you why. This one sold for $7.55. This is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, large letter card. So for $7.55, someone had it in their booth or whatever for $3. Some of these can go for really good money. A lot of them are just average $4 to $5 cards. But this one I was able to get their $7.55 for. One, it's Myrtle Beach. It's a beach. It's going to go. So you always want to check these. And there's a video about large letter postcards. I keep referring to it, but it helps people to know they can go out and look at a special topic on those. And there's a book I use a lot just to give me an idea. Is it something I need to research a little bit more? The prices in the book are probably not as good as they were, but it tells me that they're a little bit more harder to find. And that's what you want. There's a couple of these things that have sold for really good money. But check that video out that I just put up. Next one, this one sold for $5.65. I just put this up yesterday. View of Taylor Alderus High School. High schools are always good. You got to get the name of the school and the town and the state, and you can get a couple extra dollars out of some of them because people like nostalgic. This is a linen card I got $5.65 for, and it is posted 1939. So someone went to that high school. People are getting older. Now, as I just told you, I just sold another one of these. I put it on the community tab that I got a case of these sleeves in, these postcard sleeves. I went ahead and bought a case because I got them for a really good price, and they just came in. And I put them up in the store, and I put them on the community page. Hey, I got them in my store now if anybody's looking for some, if they want to support the channel and get something there. I think I got them about the price that other people sell, but I do have a margin I have to meet with the taxes and the fees and stuff like that. But I was able, these are the ones I like the best, BCW are the ones, and I think they're $3.75 plus shipping in there. So if you need any sleeves, I got them in the store. If you buy more, I have the volume 15% discount on them too, and I always combine shipping. Not that I'm, pushing people to buy stuff. I just want to let people know that when I get stuff like this, I'll put it in the store. In the Ko-Fi store, if you go to Ko-Fi, it's in the video description, and if you're a member, you get 40% off. Any members, and I put some of the sleeves up there. Ko-Fi is just, like I said, a place. It's like a buy me a coffee place, but it's a place I can put stuff up, like the stamp cards, like these. You can download them for free, or if you want the hard copy, it's just basically free. It just costs whatever the cost of shipping or mailing and the material on there. And it was an easier place to put than Google Docs and stuff like that on there. I got some other things I'm going to put up as I get it, like I had the sleeves. Yeah, I'll put them up there for the members and get there. So check out Ko-Fi. There's different levels of description if you want to support the channel there. Stuff like that. But that's what sold. It was 11 items for around $66. Pretty standard lately. It's going between, up and down still. It's going to be like that, I think, there for a while. But I'm no mathematician or economist, so I just watch my numbers, keep my expenses down, and just keep selling cards. That's all I can do. Do the best I can. It'll all come around. Now let's get into the special topic of Birchwood postcards. Some of you guys might know what these are that live around Birchwood and stuff a little bit more than I do. We have some white birch trees and stuff down here, but I'm not for sure if they're the same. I'm not a woodsy guy. But as I talk about some facts about these cards in Birchwood, I'll show you some of the cards images that I found. There's two types of birch bark postcards I've found while researching for this special topic. One is a real wooden birch bark postcard, and the other one is a cardstock looking like birch bark postcards. So one's the real wood and one makes it look like that cardboard. Birch bark is a bark of several Eurasian and North American birch trees. Strong and water-resistant cardboard like bark can be easily cut, bent, and sewn, which has made it a valuable building, crafting, and writing material since prehistoric times. Even today, birch bark remains a popular type of wood for various handicrafts and arts. The bark can be removed fairly easy from the trunk or branches of dead wood. Removing bark from live trees can harm the tree and should not be done. Again, no trees were harmed in making of this video. To prevent it from rolling up during storage, the bark should be spread open and kept pressed flat. Can be crafted and worked like cardboard. That's what the uniqueness of this birch bark is. It can be crafted and worked like cardboard. Birch bark was a valuable construction material in any part of the world where birch trees were available. Some of the real birch bark postcards you will find will have a paper layer on the back to help with the writing of a message. So that was some of the facts, and you saw some of the cards out there. You saw some of the fake ones, the cardboard with the picture of the birchwood, and then you saw some birch bark cards. As we get into the pricing of these, I didn't do any sell-through rate. There's not enough out there, and every time I put birchwood in, I would get like towns, and it just started getting really messy, so it wasn't really giving me a good number. I think they're unique enough that they probably have their own sell-through rate, their own different theme of things, but there's not a lot of them out there. So I was able to pull 3 good solds out of it that I'll show you here. There's not a sold high or so low, it's just basically 3 solds. So here's one from South Lancaster, Maine, or Massachusetts, 1908 postcard, Academy birch bark border. So this is one that has a border, makes it look like the birch bark. And that sold for $7 plus $1.25 shipping, so $8.25. Next one is a white birch tree bark posted. And that's another one with the look of the birch bark. So I didn't find any that were really birch bark, but here's a real photo on birch bark paper, and it's $9.89. So they are a little bit higher than regular cards, even the ones that have the fake birch bark on them. So it wouldn't be anything I would pass up. I would still look at them on there. But then we get into the listed, and this is where I found some more. So there's more listed than sold. So that's not the best thing in the world. But remember, these are novelty, hard to find probably in some areas and certain things. But if you look at this one, Vintage Postcards seen Little Green Lake, Wisconsin, birch bark, $28.49. Next one is a Japanese novelty advertising printed on birch bark wood. Now that's one of those real birch barks, and that's a Japanese one, $125. I couldn't tell you if these are right. I didn't find enough information anywhere really on where it is, so you're speculating on there. And he has best offer on there, so someone could make a thing, but that one's actually on wood. It looks pretty cool. 1908 High School, birch bark border. So that has a birch bark border built into the cardboard, or a look of it, $23. So the 20 and 23, I don't know, but maybe a birch bark postcard collector like them. And they all have best offer on them, so you're testing the market. I can't really say yes or no that these are too high. Just a feeling, I think it's a little high, but I don't know enough about birch bark cards. I don't sell that many of them and on there. But if anybody has done that, let me know if these numbers are a little high or what you think. Then you look at the low. So we just saw a bunch, 23, 28, throw out the Japanese one for 125. So you're in the $20, $25 area. And then these people got some birch bark border, $4. Buy it now. You got another one for $3. And then another one for $4.50. So that kind of gives you the swing that we usually see in the stuff like that. Solds are more important than listings, but it gives you an idea what your competition is. So if you have that one of getting aquarium in the park, one with birch bark, and you put it up for $28 and there's one out there for $4, you're going up against that on there. But those are the prices. I wasn't really good with finding prices on these. It took me a while, a lot longer than it usually does, to find prices and comps and stuff like that. So birch bark wood, you're going to get them, you're going to want to take a look at them and set them to the side and spend a little time and see if you have something really special there. But a lot of people talk to me about wooden postcards, and birch bark wood always comes in my mind, and you can get some really expensive ones out there. I didn't find any, but there's some, I've seen some over times that sold for $400 or $500. That were just uniquely made or whatever. And then you got your cheaper cardboard ones and stuff like that. So they can be lucrative. So never pass them up. If you get them for a good price, do a little research, and you might get a few extra bucks. That's birch bark wood. Postcards. Who knew? Now we're going to get into a poll. These polls, people ask me about them. How do I come up with them? When things pop in my head or people send me questions or want me to put a poll up, I just go to my YouTube and I can schedule them out. So I just go to, before I forget, because I will forget, if I think of something, I'll go out and hurry up and just put a question in there real quick out there and do the poll. That way I don't forget. So I have them scheduled out a little far in advance, so they just go out. I always got to sometimes remember to check them and make sure all the spelling's right. But that's where the polls come from. And then we get a lot of participation, which is good, because at the end of the year this year, I'm going to go through and grab what I can and see how many best practices or what most people are doing that's selling postcards. And I'm going to do a video to show these and say, this is the best practice. This is the best practice. This is what most people are doing. This is, so we can get a kind of feel that the successful postcard sellers are doing these things. And if you're doing 50% of them, you're probably successful as well. But it's just what everybody thinks, not just me. That's why I like the polls. I've made changes in my business just from the reactions and the votes I've gotten on polls. It made me look differently and stuff. I'll try to point those out when I do the video for that at the end of the year. This poll was a real easy question to come up with. Do you use eBay standard envelope? It's a yes or no question. And then I put in one in there that says, what is that? And then other. So I didn't get any other votes, but I got 5% of the people said, what is that? So these are the people that are probably your casual buyers and sellers on eBay. They pop in and pop out. They don't keep up with the most new things out there and stuff. But the eBay standard envelope has been out there over a year now. It is matured. People know how to use it. Buyers are getting to know that it takes a couple days once it says delivered to get it. So how do we educate the people is what is that? I have 2 videos that I put up. Both of them, I think I go through some of the eBay standard envelope. I have some other videos. There's other videos on YouTube. Just go out there and type in eBay standard envelope and it'll walk you through it. There is savings on there. There's insurance. It's easy. But the best thing to do to use eBay standard envelope is have a thermal printer, 6x4 labels, and print to that. That's the best. It's print, peel, and stick instead of putting a stamp, label, writing your names on the addresses and stuff. So that's what eBay standard envelope is. It's not unique to eBay. It's been used by LetterTrack. Etsy uses a form of that. It's just a barcode that goes on the envelope for some type of tracking. But it's not as robust as package tracking. It does not require an acceptance scan. It just needs a scan somewhere in the system to meet that it was tracking updated on time to meet that, because they can, your post lady or postman or the post office counter cannot scan that envelope. It's got to go through the sorting machines at the sorting center, and that's where it gets scans. So a lot of people get confused with that and package tracking. Packages, you get accepted. You pay a lot more for that type of tracking. You're not paying that much more for this tracking. It's not as robust. But if someone says they didn't get their postcard and you have a tracking number, there's a video. You can fill out the form, and I walk through that. It's very simple. You just got to get some information, and you can get your money back. All of mine have been approved. I didn't put any last month in, or I haven't had that many in a while, but I've gotten all my money back. So if they said they don't get it, it goes. I get my money back. So got a couple videos that you can watch on that. 7% said no, and 88% of the people that participated said yes. So I would like to know what is stopping the 7% people from using eBay standard envelope. I don't get anything from you using eBay standard envelope. I would just like to know the pros and cons, and what the cons are, why you haven't used it on there. So 10 people basically said that they don't use it. Now also, I'm hearing a lot of other YouTubers and stuff like that saying, well, I'm not going to use it. There's no way I would sell something for $40 and use eBay standard envelope. Number one, they don't understand how it works. You cannot. eBay will not allow you to use eBay standard envelope for anything over $20. A single item $20, or the total purchase over $50. It'll be grayed out. You can't use it. So it doesn't mean that person isn't going to use it. They won't let you. You have to ship it a different way. You have to mail it. And a lot of people say, well, they want this full tracking and stuff. Guys, they have insurance. If it doesn't make it, you get your money back. Refund the buyer. Wait 30 days. Before 90 days, put the claim in. Get your money back. That's why they keep it $20 and under. So I don't understand the 7%. So that noise you just heard, I thought it was the fire. We have an integrated fire alarms throughout the house, and when one goes off, they all talk, stuff like that. Even in the basement here, what it was is I have water bugs. We call these water bugs when I put them into the switch rooms and stuff. Any kind of water drips in here, or the metal contacts on the back reaches from my fish tanks. I put them around my fish tanks in case there's a leak. I don't want 55 gallons of water going across my basement or my upstairs floors and stuff. It will alarm. It'll give an audible alarm, as you heard, and then it will automatically email me. It's Wi-Fi, and it will email me and my wife that there's an alert, and each one has a name. And what happened on this one, the batteries got low. I did get an alarm the other day, and I didn't replace the batteries. They just take AAA batteries. Govee makes them, Govee. I even have them by my sump pumps and I have 3 different sump pits in the basement, and each one has one around it on there. And actually it's safe. Last year I heard one of these go off, and I forgot what the noise was, and one of my pump switches wasn't working. It got tangled up with some humidifier cord, and it was starting to leak a little bit into our wood floor. So I was able to catch that with this. I got an alert on the phone, and then I heard it. So a little bit off the postcards, but I thought you might want to know what that sound was. Wi-Fi water detectors. So even when we're on vacation, if something happens, I could tell my father-in-law or my daughter that's staying at the house what's going on. Govee, Govee, and they've worked fine. All right, back to the poll. Do you use eBay standard envelope? 88% said yes, 7% said no. I'd like to know why. 5% said, what is that? Watch the videos out there. You're missing out. And the other was 0, which is fine. I didn't get any comments on this one. I think it's pretty straightforward now. If you're selling postcards, you use eBay standard envelope. I don't know why you wouldn't. No one has convinced me not to use it yet. The poll. Viewer comments. Kind of a quicker video today. So these comments come from all over on there. Karen said, Mark, are series numbers important to put on postcard titles? I have early 1900s and some have series numbers. Thanks. Not to what I've seen. I've never really searched for series. I know there's that Union Oil Union Pacific Railroad ones, stuff like that. Different series. I know Tux. The series numbers don't mean that much for them, they said. Some of the stuff I read, I'm not really that into Tux, but they said a numbering system on Tux just is horrible. It's all inconsistent over the years, and it's nothing but frustration. There's a lot of articles I read. Now, some people might have a different thing with that, but I don't put that in the title that often. I will put the Union Oil, and I will put Union Pacific one, I think. The airlines, I think I'll do. It just depends how it looks. If it looks cool to me, I'll put it on there. Will people search for that? Maybe your hardcore collectors are looking for them, or people are really into it. So I'm kind of up in the air on that one. But I always tell people do what they want. If it looks good, you think it's going to sell, do it. Thanks, Karen. Biff Buffalo says, I purchased a collection that had tons of Masonic temple cards. That was about the Freemasonry, the Masonic postcard video I did. So he got tons of Masonic temple cards. They were all pretty disappointing. They need just the right buyer or have something else of value in the scene. Yeah, like George Washington's Alexandria. That one does pretty well for me. But yeah, they're just not. You'd think they would be more, but they're just not there. It's just not there with those. But I do have them up in the store. But I'm with Biff on that. They're just not the best sellers. They look cool, but they just don't do what you think they would do. Thanks, Biff. Next question is, I have noticed you have been buying a lot of postcards lately. Yeah, I have. How do you sustain this buying with the sales being down so much in the last few months? I don't use, I guess, I question why you asked that. Sales are down, but not down enough where I don't have the cost of goods sold back to me. That's what I use. So every item I use has a cost of goods. So if I bought a postcard for $1 and I sell 100 of them, I get that $1 back. So that's $100 I can go out and buy some more. I have a fund. I actually have a different account that I put all that money in every month that I use to buy inventory. So say you got $1,000 in your sourcing account, and you go out and you find $500 postcard. You know you got that money there. Now say I go out and find somebody with a lot and they want $2,500 for it. I have some other money that I can go to as well. You never know when people are going to walk up with a good deal. So over time you want to build up those funds. And that's how I do that. And also I've been selling for a while, so I'm always turning over stuff. And that's where the $4 to $6 cards come in, is your cash flow. That stuff pays the bills. These other high-priced cards and stuff like that, that goes to buying more cards, cameras, stuff for my business, me, or whatever I want to supplement things for. But am I overbuying? No, never. You got to buy it when you see it. If it looks good and you think you can make money on it, do it. Now, can you buy yourself out of business? Absolutely. I've seen people do that. They go out and that's all they do is source. They buy stuff, but they never put it online. Or they feel from there it's a good deal. They didn't look it up, do the research. All of a sudden they got 2 storage units full, their basement and their house full, 100 things listed. They're not and they just keep going out. They think the next best thing is better. I've been running into a lot of private collections, a lot of collections and auctions, stuff like that. The Mary Martin auction, I was able to cherry pick out some good lots there. Just different things. Finding people with postcards that haven't been on eBay. That's what I've been looking for. Going out to Brimfield and picking up all those cards. A lot of those boxes are the $4 to $6 cards, but my other box were hand-picked out of all the different booths that I went to. And those are more than $4 to $6 average. So it's all about managing your money. Now, can I go out and buy a $30,000 worth of postcards? No, it's hard for anyone to do that. But if someone walks in and says they got a bunch of postcards, 10,000 postcards, and he wants $600 for it, I have no problem doing that on there. I've spent a huge amount of money for lots in the toy stuff, thousands of dollars, and on there you just got to build your business up and put some of that money away to do those types of things. So the cost of goods sold is like capital that you put into your business, and I keep rolling it over. So at the end of the month when I do my figures, say I sell 500 postcards and I paid $1 for each. I got that money back because I priced them to get my margin. I'll take $500 and move that money over to my sourcing account. I'll pay all my bills, I'll see what's left over, and I'll take like 15-20% and I'll put it in my surplus profit account. And that's just for the business. Then the rest goes back into my operating expense account where everything gets paid. So I have money spread out between like 4 different accounts. That's how I manage it. It's my most important asset in my business is my money, not my postcards. It's the money. If you're not managing your postcards correctly, I question how they manage their money. Just because I got $500 in an account doesn't mean I have to go out and spend it. If something doesn't pop up or I haven't found anything, I just won't buy it. I have enough stuff to keep me through. So that's kind of, I hope I answered the question on there. Do I have deep pockets? No, I'm retired and I just a normal everyday person that has bills and have to pay stuff. But when things come around, I have some money put away to do that. And I hope other people do that as well. When you first get going, you might have to put some of your personal money into things. But then you always remember to pay yourself back every month and get that money back. I always recommend, do what you want to do. Once you get going, keep your business separate than your personal money. It's easier at the end of the year, and plus it makes you feel you're managing business by numbers. You mix them together, it can get ugly on there. That's once you get going and stuff. If you're going to do this for a while, you're serious about reselling, that's the best thing to do. I recommend. I've seen people not do it, and then they get themselves in a mess back and forth. So money is people are very passionate about that. So on there, they have to make a certain amount every day to do this. Well, you want to be able to run your business and also have your personal stuff. You can always transfer between the two. You can always take $300 out of your business and give yourself $300 a week. But if you mix it up, you got to take your personal and give it back to the business. That's where it can get ugly. All of a sudden you're giving everything to the business and you don't have stuff for your personal. So you want to watch that. Next one is Boldly Grow Pickers. Our in-house geologists, I think that's what they call it, Boldly. I just sold another card. I keep my phone up. Some YouTubers say turn your phone off. I keep it up, just let you know I sold a postcard. Postcard, Fenwick Island, looking north along Delaware coast, $4.55. I have no idea what it looks like or when I listed it. I haven't got that far yet, but that'll be packed up after the video. Boldly Grow is in the dinosaurs. That's what he did. Geologist, I think that's what they're called. He said he sold a dinosaur postcard, and not to me. Good looking card. Sold 2 crop duster photos this morning. After 3 sold, I have paid for the whole album. I have 80 or so more to go. That's how you do it. I love getting, say, 100 cards, and I sell 10 of them, and it pays for the everything. And that's the way to do it. Now, will you get all that money and be able to put it in your pocket and go buy more postcards? No, you have bills to pay, you have fees to pay, you have all that, but you will get the money back that you paid for that 100 postcards. Doesn't mean you're in profit, because now you still have to sell them, and you have to pay the fees to sell them. You have to spend your time. It just means you got your money back that you paid for them, and you can go buy something else. Or you can put that money in your pocket. But the other money until it sells is not yours until it sells. But Boldly Grow hit right on it. He sold 3. He's got 80 more to go. Money in the bank. But he's into dinosaurs and geology and stuff like that. And so, great job on there. Now, we talked about birch bark postcards. I get a lot of questions about leather postcards, but wooden postcards and what I think of them. I did a video on those, and it's right here, and that should be your next video you look at. I have over 100 videos in this channel on all different types of special topics and stuff, just like this video. But wooden postcards is something you want to look at. Don't go down that rabbit hole. It's interesting. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.